Today, we've got a fascinating case study for you. On the surface, it sounds like a simple fable, but when you dig in, it's actually a masterclass in community resilience. It's all about a village, a turtle, and how one small act of kindness became the most important investment they ever made. Let's get into it.
So this is really the core question we're going to explore. We're going to look at a simple act of compassion, but we're going to analyze it like it's an economic event. We're going to track its return on investment, its ROI. And trust me, the results are, well, they're pretty surprising, and they might just change how you think about what an investment really is.
All right, let's start at the beginning with phase one, the accidental investment. This is where a totally unconventional asset enters the picture, not through some big financial strategy, but through a simple, spontaneous moment of care.
Our case study really boils down to two key players: the investor, who is a grandmother, and the asset she acquires, which is just one small turtle she finds in the grass. There was no market analysis, no one was crunching numbers, it was just a chance encounter. But as you're about to see, this becomes the single most significant acquisition in the village's entire history.
Now, this whole process was nurtured in three key stages. First, the grandmother gave the turtle a home, just a simple pot filled with water. Then came the daily care, the food and water, and finally, she relocated it to the village pond so it had room to grow. So this isn't just passive ownership, it's active cultivation. In a way, she was increasing the asset's potential value, even though she probably had no idea at the time.
But, of course, every investment has its risks, and this one was no different. We're now entering a new phase of our story where that unmanaged growth starts to create some serious problems, and the whole community's perception begins to shift dramatically.
And you can really see that shift right here. It's pretty stark. What started out as this small, cherished pet, a source of joy really, has now become this huge, disruptive force in the village pond. The asset's growth just totally outpaced the community's ability to manage it, and it went from being a curiosity to a perceived threat.
So, what were the actual complaints? Well, an economist would call these negative externalities. The turtle started eating all the fish in the pond, a shared resource. It was drinking so much of the pond's water, shared infrastructure, that the levels were dropping. And frankly, its immense size started to generate real public fear. The once harmless pet was now imposing some very real costs on everyone. This all leads us inevitably to a crisis point. Faced with these growing problems, the community is forced to make a decision, and they're under a lot of pressure. And as we see so often in these situations, this is where critical miscalculations can happen. The community's decision was unanimous: send it away from here. They were so focused on the immediate problems that they decided to divest. All they could see was the liability, and they completely missed the asset's hidden underlying value. It's really a classic case of short-term problem solving leading to a huge long-term strategic mistake. And just look at how quickly things escalated. On day 1, the complaint is formally made. By day 5, the turtle is exiled and heads toward the river. And then just 5 days after that, a catastrophic flood swamps the entire village. This timeline isn't a coincidence. It shows a direct, causal link that reveals the devastating cost of their decision.
But this is where our case study takes an absolutely stunning turn. Right when all hope seems lost, that exiled asset delivers an astonishing and completely unexpected return on that initial humble investment of kindness.
1. That's the number to focus on. The single asset they had cast out becomes the one and only thing capable of saving them from total destruction. This is the moment when the turtle's true value is finally and dramatically revealed to everyone.
And the rescue itself was like a strategic operation. The asset doesn't just show up, it returns with a solution. It uses its most unique feature, its massive, strong back, to become a literal lifeline, a transport vessel, ferrying the entire population to safety. An absolutely incredible dividend paid out in the currency of survival.
So what do we do with all this? How do we apply these lessons? Let's try to distill this whole story into a practical blueprint for resilience and look at the key principles that this case has so powerfully laid out for us.
You see, the outcome wasn't just about survival. It was a complete rebirth. The community rebuilt itself on that safe ground, but this time it was built around the very asset it once rejected. The turtle was no longer a liability. It was now a fully integrated guardian, a core part of the community's identity and its security.
So let's break down these core principles. First, true value is often hidden. The turtle's real worth was never its size, but its loyalty, something nobody saw. Second, nurturing social bonds is a long-term investment. The grandmother's daily kindness wasn't just a chore, it was like she was making deposits into a bank of social capital that paid off when it mattered most. Third, short-term problems can blind us to long-term worth. The villagers' fear made them miss the bigger picture. And finally, resilience is about being able to recognize and accept help from unexpected sources, even from the very source you pushed away. That's the essence of true community resilience.
So I'll end with this question for you. What are the turtles in your community, in your organization, or even in your own life? What hidden value are you maybe overlooking just because it doesn't fit the typical definition of an asset? That's the challenge this story leaves us with. Thanks for tuning in.